Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. This is Zach over at NV Woodworks. So last week we turned the colored pencil jar and I promised I would show you guys how I made the blank. So that's what we're going to do in this week's video. I'll walk you through all the steps that I took and how I set it all up. Alright guys, so there's not a lot of supplies needed necessarily to do this. The mold that I used was just a quart mixing cup, a paint mixing cup. You can get these at Home Depot. It's HDPE plastic, so it's non-stick. It should demold real easy, and it's the perfect size. So easy mold. And then the kind of magic piece is this jig that I made. And it's pretty simple. I just drilled holes that the pencils would fit into on the top, and then cut a ridge into the bottom that would fit the rim of the paint mixing cup. Put that together, put your pencils in, and it's pretty simple. Now to make the jig, the first thing that I did was I found and marked the center of it and then drilled and tapped so that it would fit on my bottle stopper mandrel. Now, looking back, really all you need to do is put it between centers on the lathe for this operation, but it did work fine using that stopper mandrel. It just took a few extra steps doing the drilling and tapping. Once it was mounted on the lathe, I measured the diameter of the cup mold, the rim of it, and marked that on the workpiece. And then I just took my 1/8 parting tool and cut a little groove in there, and that way I could register the piece of HDPE onto the top of the cup and it would fit perfectly. Next, I took it over to the drill press and drilled out the holes for the pencils to fit in. Now, what I wanted was, when I was marking it out, I wanted the pencils to be inset from the rim of the cup about 1/4 inch, and I wanted about 1/4 inch gap between each hole. That way the pencils would have some light shining through them. Once the pencil holes were all drilled out, I then drilled a 2-inch hole in the center of the piece of HDPE to allow for a center plug to be inserted into the blank. That takes up space so you don't have to use as much resin, but I didn't actually use a center plug on either of the blanks that I made just because I didn't have any dried or stabilized wood to use for a center plug, and I just kind of wanted to get the blank made. Once the jig was ready to go, it's time to load up the pencils. So to keep all the pencils off the bottom of the cup and kind of all at the same level, I just took a wooden spacer, dropped that in the bottom of the mixing cup, put on the jig, and then loaded all the pencils up. Once the pencils are in place, then it's just a matter of hot gluing each pencil in place, waiting for that glue to dry, and then you can remove the entire jig with the pencils in it, take your spacers out, and you're ready to cast. Once the blank's been demolded, then all you got to do is cut the pencils off between the blank and the jig, and you're ready to rock and roll. And those little cut-off pencil pieces that are still stuck in the jig, they just pop right out. The hot glue doesn't really stick to the HDPE very permanently. You should just be able to kind of pop them out with your finger, and then that jig's ready to be reused. So overall, it's a pretty simple setup. I mean, there's not a whole lot involved, especially once you've made the jig. Then you're home free. Then it's super simple to set up the blank. And it's a pretty cool way, you know, you could use this for lots of different things, not just colored pencils. You know, use some sort of a lid over your jig, or over your mold, I should say. And you can suspend things in the resin and impress your friends. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching this, you know, blank come together, let's say, and hope you guys can use this, you know, idea with this jig type thing. And if you guys make something similar, or if you make some colored pencil blanks like this, I definitely want to see those. So if you're new to the channel, we do all kinds of resin casting projects, tips and tricks, and experiments around here, usually turning blank focused. So if you're interested in that, definitely hit that subscribe button so you get notified when new videos get posted. Also, if you're thinking about getting into resin casting, but you're not really sure where to begin, check out my new ebook, The Beginner's Guide to Resin Casting. It answers all those beginner questions. You know, what do I need to get started? How does it all work? What resin should I use? So if that's something that might be helpful for you, go check it out on my website. It's available now. There's a link on the screen here. So until next time, guys, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.